So hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. And first of all, a big thank you for all the positive feedback to last week's video. We were talking about the golf club and what the golf club is actually doing to the golfer and what the golfer is going to have to do primarily with his arms and hand to counteract actually the forces which are working on him through the golf club. And today's all about learning about how to practice that. So today I'm back with a few drills or exercises to help you get accustomed to the feelings and the forces which are working on you from the golf club during a golf swing. Now obviously this is probably the most difficult task out there because we're not talking about static movements or positions. We're talking about what the golf club is doing with your body in a dynamic swing. So in order to feel it, you've got to be making a dynamic swing. How else are you going to create the forces and train your body to react against them? What I'd like to do first of all is explain a little bit about what I'm doing again, and then I'd like to show you a couple of drills that you can do and thoughts that you should be having when you're doing these drills. So let's get right back to it. Once you actually start the backswing, you're gonna have to get active with your hands immediately. So the moment that your left shoulder goes down, you wanna have this feeling of the heel of your left hand pressing down and out and the right hand pulling back and up. And the combination of these two movements will bring the club up to shoulder height. Now I don't think that's gonna be much of a problem for you. If you look at it in the camera down the line, you want the feeling of the hands kind of coming up over the shaft plane and the club lifting up. It's something with which I have problems as well. However, once you actually get the club up to shoulder height, this is where the hands become passive and the arms, and where you are actually going to start the change of direction by making this move, this feeling of sitting and pulling this hip back. And it's at this point that all of these forces start to be generated on the golf club. It's at this point that the club, which is trying to get back in this direction and bow in this direction, is being resisted to by the arms and hands as the shoulders start to rotate in the opposite direction. And at this point, you've got to have the feeling of making an active tug here. And I like to think of it as a tug because it's not really a pull. I don't have the feeling I'm pulling the thing down. It's like a short tugging movement that I put on the club after I've actually started this kind of sitting position. So there's still going to be a slight delay between the moment that I allow my body to start to kind of free fall back onto the bar stool and this feeling of tugging. But we're talking milliseconds. It's kind of less than a blink of an eye. Up to the top, boom, boom, and tug. At this point, you should be pressing off with your feet from the bar stool, the left or the lead foot pushing the lead hip out of the way, the trail leg pushing off from the kind of ball of the big toe and pushing the trail hip forward. That's going to start a rotational action in the upper body and shoulders as well. And as this starts, you've got to get then an answer coming from your arms. So as the club is trying to break in this direction, you've got to be pushing down. So if we want to kind of sum it up, we're talking about get to shoulder height in the backswing, and as the arms are going up, you're going to change direction, tug and push. But I would like to really think it not just tug and push, but almost like tug and slam. I'm really kind of slamming my arms down and trying to get an absolute balance between the forces that I'm using to push my hips around and up and the forces I'm using to push my arm down. We don't want one of the systems winning. If just my body starts working and I let the club do what it wants, then it's going to overtake me. And on the other hand, if I start pressing down and don't get the rotation, the equal forces working on the legs, then obviously I'm going to I'm going to start bashing into the ground and hacking the thing all over the golf course. So this balance is going to probably be the most difficult thing to keep during a golf swing, and it's probably the reason why even the tour professionals can have their bad days. They just don't get this balance correct. Their hands dominate their body dominates their hands, the timing breaks down, the sequence breaks down, and you know what happens after that. So the practice is take it up to shoulder height, change direction and tug, press off from the feet and push down with both arm and hand. Now I know it's simpler to think of the right hand pushing down than the left hand pulling back and down, but that's the kind of feeling you want to have, and that should actually get you onto playing in the downswing. Now, how are you going to control this movement? Well, I think you've all got a mobile phone at home, and if you set that up behind you down the target line, then I'm going to paint a couple of lines on the video so that you can actually see what's happening. What I want to happen is at the top of the backswing, if you take the hand position, and then we're basically drawing a line down to where you want the hands at impact, which is a little bit higher than where they were at the beginning of the swing. So from the sideline, I've got my address position here, and I've got my impact position there. So I'm drawing a line really from the top of the backswing down to the impact position, and that's where I want to get them. So as I start the movement and sit, I'm pulling, and I'm pulling the club. It feels vertical, but in truth it's coming down this line. As I change direction, my hands keep pressing down this line into the impact position that I'm wanting to get to. And like I say, have the feeling of pressing off with the feet and slamming the arms down into this position. Don't take any prisoners here. If you do it correctly, it should look something like that. But it's probably not perfect. So what I want to show you is a girl called Anna van Damme. I think has got one of the best swings in golf. If you just have a look at how she does it. As she takes the club back, you can actually see how the wrists hinge, the hands come up to the top of the backswing, the shoulder plane and arm plane is totally parallel to the club plane. And then she starts down, and you can see as she goes into that squatting position, how she pulls the hands down the line and keeps pushing them down the line as her hips clear. And then in impact, you've got this beautiful impact position, hands in front of the ball, lean on the golf club, lag tension and all those lovely things. And then as the club is releasing out through the golf ball and coming up into a perfect finish where her hands are virtually where they were at the top of the backswing if you look at from the down of the line perspective. This is what we're shooting for, guys. I know it's, and girls, excuse me. I know it's not easy, but it's something that you can do. One last tip from here, don't think about it when you're hitting a golf ball. Even if you're a little under the plane like me, a little over the plane, a little steeper, a little flat, you're going to find a Brooks Cup kit out there who's making money out of it. You're going to find a Sergio Garcia who's making money out of it. There's nobody out there who's doing it perfectly. But I don't think there's anybody out there who's turning their body and just letting their arms follow them. They're working with their arms to get them down on plane and into this impact position. And it's going to be a changing from pulling to pushing, and an equal balanced proportional response from body and arm. So when you hit the golf ball, you shouldn't be thinking about anything apart from where it ought to go. And finally today, I want to show you a drill that you can do if you've got a TerraBand at home, or you've got some of these kind of bands that we use to connect, for instance, the RIP trainer. If I can find one, I'll put a link below where you can get one off Amazon. Usually they're only 20, 30 bucks, but I'll leave a link below. So come with me into the shed and I'll show you an exercise you can do to kind of train these muscles, build these muscles and get more speed into your golf swing. So back indoors, I've just got one of these, I'm not really sure what it's called. It's basically a rubber band which has got a covering on it. You have something similar on the rip trainers. You can get them pretty cheap off Amazon. What I've done is I've hung it up on a hook on 2 carabiners now. It's okay if you get something like this and just put it over the back of your doors. You can also get these door clamps which also hang over and got a carabiner on them, so you could put the carabiners in one another if you don't want to ruin your door frame. But usually it will work like this. What you want to be doing is, first of all, standing with your back to the wall, and you've got the carabiners around about just outside kind of your right shoulder, almost basically at the extension of your arms, and you're trying to kind of get to the top of your backswing position with your hands a little bit higher than shoulder height, and then grip with both hands. And the trick here is to kind of get this kind of feeling of kind of squat and tug, and you're really kind of pulling down with both hands, squat and tug, squat and tug, squat and tug. Now, obviously the whole idea here is to kind of associate these two movements. So they're moving almost simultaneously, but really the body is leading just shortly, and just as the body changes direction, you're getting this tension on the arms, and the arms are then resisting and pulling in the opposite direction, pulling the club down the plane. Once you've actually got that one going, the second one, you want to be standing basically just inside the kind of line of the anchor, grip it at the end of the cord, and now we've done the squat bit, maybe a little bit higher there or a little bit further away from the wall, and then we're going to get this kind of push back, push forward and push down, and trying to get the feeling of pulling and pushing my hands into that impact position. Well, it'll keep us fit if nothing else. As ever, don't think about it when you're hitting golf balls. Try and get this to a position where it's just a natural part of your golf swing. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to us already, please do so. I shall leave my philosophy on golf up here in the left-hand corner to download if you're interested in that. If you hit the little bell, it'll give you notifications the next time that I post a video. I'm coming back with a special drill where you'll need a partner next time. Should be back within the week. See you then. Bye-bye.